Yes, Spelman College does allow men into their career advancing cohorts, and I highly suggest taking one. I did. This is the pivot, how HBCUs can boost your career. Post-pandemic, I had the opportunity to pivot careers from working in mental health, serving one vulnerable population, to coordinating resources for homeless foster care youth, serving another vulnerable population, and I had the opportunity to invest in more than a handful of HBCU specializations, which helped this process. First, I want to start with when you want to pivot careers. When is when? So for me, it was being utterly uncomfortable, and I had a unique opportunity to pivot careers with starting my new career while still in my old career. So I was doing both at the same time, and I would be so excited, so energized, so refreshed going to one, and then would show up at the other completely depressed, irritated. Although this was something that I loved doing, this was something that I wanted to do ever since I was little. Mental health is what I got my degree in. This is something that you keep telling yourself that you want to do all throughout college, all throughout the trials and tribulations of that first initial stage, just to get to your career. But I was faced with, for the first time ever, not wanting to be there, not wanting to do what I said that I wanted to do ever since I could fathom what a real job was. Like my first job that I wanted to do was be Batman. But as soon as I found out that that's not working, I settled on working in mental health. And coming up, working through the pandemic, so every day being an essential worker, putting out fires, putting out crisis on top of the crisis that already come with that, I became burnt out. I didn't feel like my unit was effective. I didn't feel like my work was effective, and ultimately it became uncomfortable. There's an analogy about an eagle building its nest on top of thorns, so when the babies get old enough, the nest becomes uncomfortable and they want to move. And I feel like that's what happened to me. It just became uncomfortable. So knowing when to pivot, I would say when you're utterly uncomfortable, or when you have a sure pathway for growth, or you are perched. You're perched and you're looking at your capabilities, you're looking at the future, and you are ready to make a leap, or at least make an attempt at something new. So now that you're sure that you want to pivot careers, the question is obviously how, right? And what does that have to do with HBCUs? So I could say that I pivoted careers from working in mental health to coordinating resources for homeless foster care youth simply by a conversation. So flexing your network. I was working on a project outside of work, and I reached out to a company that I had been involved with once before at a younger age. And crazy enough, when I reached out of this specific program in this company, we had a conversation, and it was a position that they were creating, first ever, an inaugural position, and they thought I would be a great fit for it. So I took the time to, number one, invest in my skills, and then interview for the position, and I was lucky enough to get it. So here's where HBCUs come into play. So I went from working in mental health, going to coordinating resources for homeless foster care youth, and you sit and you look at the difference in these two positions and these two missions, and one is not very mental health or psychology heavy, and that's where I got my degree. All throughout college, the goal was to get a job in mental health, put your degree to work, and make the degree work for you while giving an impact to the community and things like that. So now I'm in a place where I can't really apply those skills here, but luckily enough, I have a network. So I would suggest joining a professional network. I had a network. I had been involved in the city for a very long time, since I was in high school. So I had already had this background and skills of coordinating resources specifically for the mental health population. So I know how to put things together. Now I have to apply those skills to a different population. So it's a convergence here. So here comes Spelman College's project management career advancing cohort. In 2023, I took this cohort. I was lucky enough to be accepted, so thank you for that. And it was a wonderful experience because I felt like it was things that I already knew, but they were formalized, they were organized, and they put it in a way where you can directly apply it to your position. And in my case, going to work is just like being in class. I could take what I read, I can take what I studied, and implement it directly into the programming of this new position. One of the things that I find extremely unique about project management is these skills can be transferred to anything that you do. In finance, you have skills to give the stakeholders deliverables, give everybody involved the facts and the figures that they need on time, so staying within scope. If you all come together and you agree on a plan, your job is to make sure this plan is executed, all of these factors are executed right into what you all agreed to. If you are in I don't know, education, you have a lesson plan and you have deliverables to your students, and your job here is to transfer these project management skills into a streamlined syllabus. Project management gives you these organizational skills to balance all factors and figures and concepts, and then you can decide or even flesh out what's more beneficial to you, rather it's being agile, being kind of loosey-goosey, go with the flow, able to adapt, or is it being waterfall, going straight down step by step in order. I think knowing this now puts you at a place where you can discern better which and what projects may be good for you in any field that you're in, which task or which role in a team that you might be better suited for. And of course, if you are employed, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're working anywhere, you have one or two jobs, or you might even have both of these jobs, and that is to provide a good or a service. So anybody that is in occupation is providing something to society, and project management makes it so that you are clear on the deliverables and what you are offering, when you are offering it, at whichever value that you are offering it at. That's one of the best things about project management, and I think any and everybody should invest in project management skills. So once again, where do HBCUs come into play? Well, choosing an HBCU to do this is a very unique and innovative way to support these institutions. Spelman's format for project management fit right into my schedule. It was easy to plug in, and with my occupation now ever changing, I can be anywhere addressing whatever crisis out of 1,000 former homeless foster care youth. Anything could come up. Fitting project management into this worked really well. Now, I did not enjoy the quizzes and the homework being due on the weekend, because you got to give up a little bit of fun, but it's an investment. It's an investment, and it's a sacrifice for your own professionalism and for you to grow and become a better professional overall. And I think it's very beneficial. And again, these HBCUs are putting out these specializations to make sure that professionals in our culture are keeping up and excelling. You know, something that I thought was always just a sales tactic was folks talking about, oh, you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. You need to do this, spend money on this, put your monetary resources into this. And I always thought it was a tactic for them to sell their product, right? But with age comes wisdom. You really do have to invest into your skill set, and what I would highly suggest is that you choose HBCUs to do it, because number one, Spelman was the very first cohort in skill set and project management that I have ever taken, and this led to opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, just being in the network. in the Spelmanite network and just being introduced to an array of options, being introduced to different platforms, different levels of thinking, different levels of professionalism, because there's more than just, the inside academic skills to this. There's a social component too. And I would have never gotten onto this train, I would have never gotten onto this track without taking the time to sincerely invest into my skill sets. And 9 times out of 10, your company or your occupation, the job that you work for, has resources for this. And we don't use them because we are just set on doing the job. Well, we could do more. Every year at a company where we are offering our skills, where we're performing a service or good, we should also be investing in ourselves and asking them to do it. Another unique benefit of project management is it gives you an opportunity to learn before doing. I know that sounds weird and it may sound obvious, but this is what I mean. Number one, it gives you an opportunity to map out contingencies, map out things that might come up, even plan for emergencies. And I think sometimes when we are in the thick of it and we are working and really working, we're showing up every day and we're kind of going through the motions, and it gets a little bit automatic. Like, of course you're applying your skills and of course you're serious about what you're doing, but are you really taking the time out to plan these contingencies? And you say, how do you plan for an emergency? It's an emergency. Well, project management gives you possible skills to do that. And one of them is creating space. So giving yourself time, again, on the deliverables, just in case an emergency comes up. And if no emergency comes up, then you'll just be early on a project. And who's going to get mad at that? Well, of course, I want to encourage you to invest in project management. And a lot of HBCUs have put out project management specializations. And I think one of the things that makes project management so foreign to so many people is it's not their field. Like, yes, there are project managers that go out just to take projects from A to Z. But guess what? The accountant needs this, the doctor needs this, the director of whatever somewhere, so and so. You need this too. Because again, the skills, they're formalized skills. And you may know your style, but have you ever put your style on paper and evaluated it? Have you ever really mapped out your critical path? What type of employee are you? Do you know that this project or that project is better suited for your talents? Not just the inkling that you have inside you, but can you map it out and can you look on paper and be like, maybe I don't have time for this. Maybe you thought you had time for it, but when you mapped it out, you really didn't. Maybe when you looked at the skills and the requirements to get X, Y, and Z done, you're like, somebody's better suited for that. And it teaches you how to put your own life in order outside of that. When you map out how much time you need for work, the skills that you need to do it, and whatever it takes for your personal life. It's overall organization. So again, how can HBCUs boost your career? Number one, it can give you the select skills that you are looking for. You do not have to go and get this gigantic base of knowledge like you do with a typical degree, but you can get the very select skill that you are looking for. If you're looking at a certain industry and you may not be as strong or as proficient in that skill, taking a specialization and choosing an HBCU to do so can increase your skills in whichever area it is that you are trying to pivot into. Now, the actual pivot, what I would say is something that I enjoyed about my Spelman cohort, even though I had already pivoted careers. Something that I enjoyed about my Spelman cohort is it forced us, literally assigned us projects to work with each other. We had to talk to each other. These are people all around the world, people in our culture, people outside of our culture. And of course, Spelman is an all-female school, an all-woman school. And I'm a black man at this black female HBCU program, and it's very diverse. Again, there's people outside of our cohort, outside of our culture. So again, How can HBCUs boost your career? Number one, it can give you the select skills that you are looking for. You do not have to go and get this gigantic base of knowledge like you do with a typical degree. So this cohort and a lot of their career advancing cohorts gives you an opportunity to network and be involved and to learn from a space that traditionally you are not necessarily a part of. And here's the thing. This specific specialization in project management has helped me with Culture Champion Creative, a for-good brand dedicated to advocating, inspiring, and uplifting our culture and community. This is something that I personally wanted to do. This is something that is a passion of mine. And these skills are transferable to even this. It's helped me coordinate resources and plan projects between multiple organizations. Something that I think every professional in our culture needs to do is, number one, continue to invest in your skill on a yearly basis. And of course, use HBCUs to do it. As a culture, as a community, we can support HBCUs in doing this. I know it's a lot to think about, but you really do have to invest into your own skills. And if you're going to give your hard-earned resources to a company, to an institution or a school, I would highly suggest that it be an HBCU. So always go to HR and see if they have a skills fund or a training fund, something that they can provide, something that they would support. You can write it up, present it to your director, present it to your bosses, or think of it as a yearly investment, a yearly gift to yourself. Now, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some sacrifice, but it's all worth it. That's the best part about it.